Congressman Adam Kinzinger joins me now. Thanks for taking the time this morning.
You bet. Hey.
You speak about accountability in your closing statement there. You said to Armando Raju as you left the hearing yesterday that you do believe the former president has criminal exposure. Do you believe the committee has presented sufficient evidence for the Justice Department to indict the former president?
Yeah, look, again, it's a question for justice. I think we have proven, not basically just in this hearing, we've proven different components of a criminal case against Donald Trump or people around him in every hearing. And I think taken in totality, this represents the greatest effort to overturn the will of the people, to conspire against the will of the people, and to conspire against American democracy that we've ever had, frankly, since the Civil War. So, yeah, I think we've proven that. It's up to justice now to make a decision. Look, Jim, I want to be clear. We don't want to become a country that the next administration prosecutes the prior administration. That happens in failed democracies. But this is a different situation. If we become a country that accepts attempts at coups and attempts at overcoming the will of the American people, we can't survive that. We literally cannot survive that. And that in and of itself is a precedent which is unsustainable for this country.
We may have the former president announcing another run for the White House in the coming weeks and months. We have election deniers who have won Republican primaries in some states. You said during last night's hearing that the committee will also propose laws, reforms that need to be made to prevent this from happening again. What specific laws, changes, reforms do you believe are necessary?
Yeah, I mean, look, that's a conversation we're engaging in. Look, I think for sure we all agree that there has to be something to the Electoral Count Act. You know, that's, if you look at 2024, if you run the same playbook that was run in 2020, you can theoretically see how you can make it succeed in 2024. The most important thing we can do is just put a roadblock up, at least in that near term. And then long term, I think we have to talk about, you know, what is it, what does really one vote mean? How do we make sure that people have faith in their vote? And how do we, you know, without violating the First Amendment, how do you penalize people from undermining this democracy? And I got to tell you, otherwise, Jim, too, it's a longer conversation, but money in politics. We've become a country where it's billionaires that are running for office and billionaires that are funding runs for office. And we can start to see we're at the beginning of what you see in some places like Russia with oligarchs driving the political system.
We are 4 months away from a midterm election, 2 years and 4 months away from a presidential election. A lot of discussions of the laws that you've presented. By the way, there is some bipartisan movement towards potential reform of the Electoral Count Act. But for folks watching right now, should they feel confident that the coming elections are any safer from this kind of attempt to steal an election than they were in 2020?
Probably in 2022, yes. 2024, no. I mean, look, I gotta, you know, I like to stand up and be a little more optimistic, but here's the deal. America, you deserve way better than what is representing you out here. You deserve way better than, frankly, two parties that are really just entrenched in what it means to take power, how to take power back. And Republicans particularly, let me talk to you, you deserve far better than somebody that's gonna stand in front of you, knowingly lie to you so they can steal your money from you and tell you lies so that you believe it, and they laugh behind your back. Trust me, they are laughing that they can manipulate you so easily. So you can get mad at people like myself and Liz Cheney for telling you the truth, but the people you should be mad at are those that are lying to you and completely disgracing you and your family. And that's what we have to, as Americans, stand up and say, if our parties aren't going to represent us, we have to do something different. But dang it, it's up to us to take our party back.
As you know, bubbles in this country, news and information bubbles, are persistent. And these hearings are either covered differently or not covered at all, frankly, in some right-wing media. And that is seen, it's discernible in some of the polling. A Monmouth poll just recently asked Republicans in June 2021 and June 2022 how they would describe January 6th. And a smaller number of Republicans believe today that it was an insurrection than believed then. Do you believe, look at that there, from 33% in June 2021 to just 13% today, do you believe that these hearings have failed to move the vast majority of voters in your party?
Well, yeah, I mean, probably the vast majority. I've had a lot of anecdotal people call and say, I had a good friend that said my dad was a super MAGA head, he hated you, Adam, and loved Donald Trump. He's now all in against Donald Trump because he believes he's been lied to. But look, Jim, there may be a certain set of voters that'll never pay attention. Their kids will. And I'm going to tell you, I truly believe in my heart, in 5 years, maybe not 5, but definitely 10, you're not going to be able to find a single person that admits to supporting or voting for Donald Trump in this country because they're going to be embarrassed because their kids are going to say, you actually supported Donald Trump? Are you kidding me? And they're going to be like, no, we didn't. It's like trying to find a Nixon supporter a couple years after he resigned. I had to tell you, your kids, and to my fellow Republican congressmen, stand up and speak out or your kids will be ashamed of having that last name. And I'm not trying to say that to be mean, it's just fact.
The committee made clear that last night's hearing was not the last one, likely to continue into September. What are those hearings? What should folks at home expect them to focus on?
So, right now, as we kind of foresee it, it'll be more like we're going to start this interim report gathering as we continue to get more information and keep this going. So I think you could see a couple kinds of things, and I don't know this for sure what it's going to look like yet, would be any new information we get that's relevant, that's important to put in front of the American people, because we want to make sure you know what we know. Or, about the report summarizing recommendations, maybe talking to national security experts about what does this do to America's national defense. One of the things that was kind of missed yesterday in the hearing, by the way, Jim, is Keith Kellogg, for instance, said, Donald Trump never requested National Guard. This is what I keep hearing by my friends on the right is, what about the National Guard? Donald Trump requested National Guard. Tons of people said he didn't. He didn't. Let's just put that out there too. So those are kinds of things we can see in the future.
Yeah. One thing the committee has attempted to do last night and in the days before is to corroborate Cassidy Hutchinson's testimony on a number of fronts, but including this alleged incident in the presidential SUV with him wanting to go to the Capitol following the rally on the Ellipse. You'll remember in the wake of that testimony that the U.S. Secret Service seemed to imply, and others through unnamed sources, that there were members, including Tony Ornato, who was the president's deputy chief of staff, as you know, who would dispute that testimony. U.S. Secret Service also said at the time that they would be cooperative. Zoe Lofgren said last night that Ornato, as well as others have now, Robert Engel, have lawyered up, and the driver of that SUV. Are you confident they're still going to cooperate?
No, I mean, look, it's one thing through an anonymous source, and look, I'll give it to them, because after Cassidy testified, on the right, they were totally discrediting her, or trying to, by saying, look, the thing, we hear this anonymous source that said it wasn't true. Well, now, of course, that's melted away. You've had corroboration of her story. She never said she saw it in the first place anyway. She just said she heard it. And now, all of a sudden, you have these Secret Service members lawyering up and not coming in and talking to us. So the point is, if you're going to invest everything in trying to discredit a very credible witness, you better make sure you can do it. They failed to. She is unimpeachable. And Cassidy Hutchinson, I got to tell you, she never intended this. She will go down in history like blowing away anybody else that's been part of the January 6th stuff. That's not what she wants, but she's a huge hero.
A short time ago, you shared some of the messages, including voicemail messages, that you have received from people threatening you for the work you've done on this committee. You had a very prominent role last night. I don't want you to expose anything that might put you in a bad position, but I think it's important for folks at home to know what happens in that kind of space. Are you still getting threats? Did you get more threats after your comments last night?
I'm sure I have since last night. I have since I put that out. I mean, Jim, look, the number of people that call and threaten my child, who's 6 months old, and that is just, I mean, it takes like pure evil. So don't ever talk to me. I'm a Christian, Don't ever talk to me about you being a Christian and then threaten to kill a 6-month-old baby. I don't know what kind of evil is in your heart. I don't know, if that's a party, I want nothing to do with that. And so, yeah, there is some pure evil. I mean, talk to anybody. So, talk to anybody that is in this position. I'm sure you get the same thing. Ladies and gentlemen, a tough man doesn't need to call and threaten a child and a wife of a man.
Yeah. It's false strength, and I have experienced it. Congressman Adam Kinzinger, be safe.
Thanks.
Thank you for your straight talk, and we appreciate you taking the time this morning.
You bet. Take care.